Hey everybody, DSDghost here, back with another build video. This has to be one of my favorite builds to play with. It is a max crit skill-based build. I'll show you two versions of it. One of them a Tactician form of it, and the other one a high-end exotic version of it. I will go through each build, and then after it I will give you a side-by-side comparison so you can make a choice of which one you would like to run with based off of the stats that I post. So let's get right into it. First I'm going to start with the exotic one. Let's get to it. Okay, so this is the high-end exotic max crit skill-based build. I'll start with my gear and then I will go to my weapons. First, vigorous chest piece. This is for your booster shot, and I think it's the best chest piece in the game. It's rolled skill power with health, skill haste, and ammo capacity. Doesn't get much better than that. 1972 armor. That's my chest piece. The mods on it are both electronic mods with skill haste. You want to make sure with this build and the Tactician build, everything is based off of skill haste and skill. So, electronic mods with skill haste, vigorous chest piece, rolled health, skill haste, ammo capacity, rolled electronics. My mask is a Pharaoh's mask because, well, we're 1.6.1. We all know status effects are way worse, especially the fire one with the airburst still being an issue and fire turrets making a huge rise. So the Pharaoh's mask is beautiful for that. Let's roll firearms with skill power and burn resistance. Don't really need burn resistance, but I have it on there anyway because that's the roll I have for this. So that's my mask. The mod on it is skill haste, stamina rolled skill haste. The knee pads that I have are short bow knee pads rolled electronics with health, disorient, burn, and bleed. Essentially what you would like on a knee pad is burn, shock, and disrupt resistance. Shock is pretty bad, burn horrific, and disrupt is making a pretty good comeback. A lot of people are using disrupt for immunizers and turrets and seekers and stuff like that, so disrupt is great to have as a minor attribute. The mods on here is a stamina rolled skill haste mod and first aid self heal. To my backpack, it is a electronics rolled specialized backpack with health and ammo capacity. It doesn't get much better than that. The mods on here is stamina with skill haste and 2 first aid self heals. To my gloves, this is what makes this version of the build shine. MC gloves, 16% weapon damage when there's no bonuses active, which there are none because it's an all high-end build. It's rolled firearms with skill haste, crit damage, and shotgun damage. Now the ideal gloves for this would be firearms, skill haste, crit damage, and SMG damage. I'll get into that when I go look at my weapons, but you want SMG damage on your gloves. But you definitely want skill haste, crit damage, and SMG damage. Then my holster, with Nimble getting its horrific nerf, I chose to do the Colonel Bliss holster. You can stack up on some NPCs before you go crazy on some players. It's a little bit difficult to switch from your pistol to your weapon, but I think it's pretty good. It's rolled all in the 1200s. I wish my firearms were a little bit higher, but this is what I got for my Colonel Bliss holster. And it's rolled skill haste, of course. The mod on here is, you guessed it, first aid self heal. And that is what all of my gear entails. Now, let's go look at the weapons. I personally have an MP5 ST. I think this is one of the best weapons besides the AUG. I personally use an SMG for my primary, obviously because of the crit chance. This is a crit damage based build, so you want the most crit damage and crit chance that you can possibly get. So using an SMG as your primary is the best idea. It's 17.7k damage. Obviously, if I had SMG damage rolled on my gloves, this would be more around like 18.5. So, but 17.7k damage for a high skill and only close to 5,000 firearms is not bad. 22% chance. Now, you can play around with the talents on your weapon. I personally have competent, responsive, and deadly because I personally think that my crit chance is pretty good. If I had a little bit lower crit chance, I would probably have adept. I would swap out competent for adept, but I currently have competent, responsive, deadly. The mods on my weapon are magazine size, reload speed, rate of fire. Obviously, you can have you know, crit chance on your mag, but I personally like reload speed, so I get that little bit of extra edge on other players. My scope is crit damage, headshot damage, crit chance. That's the best that you want. You want it rolled crit damage. All your mods you want rolled crit damage. So my scope is crit damage, headshot, chance. My muzzle is crit damage, crit chance, headshot damage, increased threat. My underbarrel is crit damage, stability, reload speed. The underbarrel doesn't really matter what you have on it. Personally, as long as it has crit damage on there, you're good to go. That's for my SMG. My secondary, I choose an AK. The reason why I use an AK is because it hits hard, 23.5k damage. It's a little bit slow, but I use it as my finisher weapon, so I do most of my damage with my SMG, and then I'll switch to my AK to do the finishing blows. 20% enemy armor damage, that's an obvious. On here, I have responsive, adept, and deadly. There's where my adept comes in for that extra little bit of crit hit chance. Now, you don't necessarily need deadly on here. It is based off of a crit damage build, but when you look at an assault rifle, deadly really doesn't make that much of a difference. I would personally probably have competent on here instead, because you get an extra 10%. It comes out the same. So my goal for an AK is to have responsive, adept, competent. Obviously, the mods on here are pretty much the same. Magazine size, crit chance, rate of fire, crit damage, crit chance, headshot, crit damage, crit chance, headshot, and crit damage, reload speed, stability. And those are my weapons. My pistol, forgot to mention that. 93R, that is for my holster. It's really fast. You get about 3 to 4 bullets per trigger pull. So when you go to stack up on an NPC, you do like 2 or 3 bursts real quick, stack up to 7 or 8, and then you're ready to rock and roll. Expert, cool-headed, it really doesn't matter for your pistol. Some people want harmful on here, but with the 93R, you're shooting so fast, the recoil is pretty high, so you're not really going to hit those long-range harmful shots, especially with it not really proccing as well. But that's my 93R. For those of you who don't know what the Colonel Bliss holster, I forgot to mention, Colonel Bliss holster, hitting a target consecutively with a sidearm increases your damage with all weapons by 2% for 20 seconds. It stacks until 10 shots. So you don't want to go over 10 shots. If you go over 10 shots, it's just going to do an EMP, and it's going to get rid of all the weapon damage. So you want to stay 9 or below. That's why I use a 93R, because it's fast shooting. And you can get, you know, it's like burst fire. Alright, so hopefully that wraps up my gear. Over to my weapon, or not my weapon talents, my skills. I have a concealed pulse because this is usually what I will run. 21% for chance and 21% damage, which is pretty good. And then when you look at recon pack, if I have someone else who's running a conceal, I may have someone else on my team who has low skill power run a really low end conceal, because you really don't need, you're not looking for the damage on that one. I'll have them run a conceal, and I'll run the recon pack, which gives me 25% crit chance and crit damage, which is huge in PvP. Obviously I use a booster shot, 25% cooldown, but with triage and stuff like that, it comes back pretty quickly. But that's really the whole mindset behind this build, is you get your heals back quicker, you get your pulse back quicker, so you continually are doing a good amount of damage. That booster shot is what gives you that extra toughness. I run 300k toughness, so the booster shot brings me to about 320, 325, so I'm not so squishy, and that's why I use booster shot with that. Weapon talents, triage, strike back, crit save, and combat medic when I'm in a group. When I'm in a group, triage, combat medic, strike back, and crit save. If I'm running solo, I'll usually put like on the move on, and you know, some other random, probably one is none, something like that. And those are the weapon talents. Okay, so now here's where we're going to start comparing this build to the other build. I'm going to go over this real quick. Weapon damage, 17.7k damage. Crit chance on here is 27.5, so we'll just go to 28. Now, you look at that, you have 28k from my base. That's 28k crit chance on my base. Then, if you look at my pulse, I'm getting 25 if I do the recon pack. That's 53% chance, which is close to the max you can get, which is 60%. My crit damage is 111, which is close to the max. I think the max was like 115 or something like that, or 120. So crit damage is pretty high up there. Headshot damage, obviously, you don't really mind that. Then we're gonna go down, and we are going to look at the big thing here, which is my skill haste, which is 36%. 36% skill haste with the high-end exotic max crit build. Alright everybody, now here is the Tactician version of the max crit build. As you can see, my numbers are kind of the same, 49, 17 for my firearms. Toughness is around the 300 range, 298. Skill power obviously is higher because I'm using Tactician, so instead of 221, which was on my exotic, it's 256 on here. But I will show that in a little bit when I do a side-by-side comparison of both builds. We'll start with gear. The vigorous chest piece is the same. Rolled electronics, health, skill haste, ammo capacity, and 2 electronics mods with skill haste on them. My mask is rolled electronics with skill power and burn resistance. Burn resistance is good on this one because I'm not using the Pharaoh's mask, so you need that burn resistance, even though it doesn't really do much because they changed the status effect, the way it works, which we're not going to touch on now because that pisses people off. Knee pads are my Tactician Authority knee pads, rolled electronics with skill power, damage to elites, bleed resistance, burn resistance. I would like to have health on these with obviously shock, burn, disrupt, but this is what I got. My mod on here is stamina with skill haste and first aid self-heal. For those of you who aren't up to date with Tactician Authority, 2 set gives you 15% skill haste, and 3 set gives you 10% skill power. So I don't really necessarily need the skill power rolled, or the skill power rolled on my knee pads. I would like health. I can't roll health on these, so looking for another pair of Tactician knee pads. Forgot to mention that on my mask is a stamina mod rolled skill haste. On my backpack, I change it to a firearms specialized with health and ammo capacity. My mods on here are actually a little bit different. Instead of doing all first aid self heals, I have 2 first aid self heals and then 2 pulse crit hit chance. And then I have a stamina mod rolled skill haste. My gloves are Savage, which will give me an extra 7% crit chance to targets out of cover, rolled firearms with SMG, crit damage, and skill haste. Now, when you look at this build, you can obviously already get the feel that my skill haste and my crit chance are already going to be higher than my other build. So when you see the side-by-side comparison, you kind of make your own idea on which one you think is better. For my holster, also a little bit on the weak side. Everything in 1200s is beautiful, but I have health roll in my major attributes, which if I had skill haste on here, it would be beautiful. And the mod on here is first aid self-heal. Let's look at my weapons. Hey, would you look at that? They're exactly the same. Mods are the same. 16.2k damage, though that's the difference. My other one was 17.7k, so you lose about 1000k damage because you don't have those MC gloves on. But you get competent, responsive, deadly. That's what I choose for this. All of my weapon mods are the same. Mag size, reload speed, rate of fire, crit damage, headshot, crit chance, crit damage, crit chance, headshot, crit damage, stability, reload. Same thing on my AK. Also, if you go ahead and look at it, everything's exactly the same on here, but take a notice, 33% crit chance on my recon pack, 29% crit damage. If you go to conceal, 29% chance, 25% damage. So it's a difference of about 4% on my damage and about 8% on my chance. Same thing over here. You're looking at a 4% difference to my damage and about 8% difference to my chance. Obviously that's from the 2 chance mods and the Savage Gloves. Talents are also the same. Triage, Strike Back, Crit Save, Combat Medic. Now we'll go into looking at the specifics. 27.5% crit chance, which is just about the same as my other build. But we're getting close to 60 because of that extra 33% chance from my pulse. Weapon damage is 16.2, obviously we saw that. Crit damage is also the same because the weapon mods are all the same. This is where it gets really interesting. Skill haste, 44%. If I had the extra 7%, we're closer into the 50% range if I had it on my holster. So you're looking at about 52% skill haste compared to 36. So when we go and look at our booster shot, 20. So you have a 5-second less cooldown on your Tactician version of the max crit build. And that is the Tactician version. Alright everybody, let's look at a side-by-side comparison between my exotic and my Tactician build. So, first you'll look at the weapon damage, which you can see on my exotic is 17.7k damage. On the tac, it's 16.2k damage. The critical hit chance on my exotic is 27.5% with no bonus from Savage. On my Tactician, it is also 27.5% chance, but you also have that extra 7% chance from damage, from Savage Gloves. The crit damage is the same on both. The skill power on the exotic is 221k damage. On the Tactician build is 256%. On the skill haste, you have 36% skill haste on the exotic and 44% skill haste on the Tactician. Toughness on the exotic is 301. The toughness on the Tactician is 298. The health on the exotic is 209,000. Tactician is 201,000. And then the armor is 30% mitigation on the exotic, 32% on the Tactician, which really doesn't really matter that much. So yeah, guys, that basically wraps it up for the hybrid max crit build. If you have any questions, just leave a comment below. Stick around for a short PvP clip of me using this in the Dark Zone so you can see how these builds do against players. And if you have any questions, again, just leave them below. Don't forget to like if you guys enjoyed the video. It would definitely help. Hopefully I'll see you guys on my stream. Y'all have a good one. Yep.
I ain't beat him. There you go, get him.
Bitch. Oh, yeah, he'll... No, they're not.
There you go. I got you.
Good shot.
Yeah.
Secret move! Got a heal for you.
Come get it, bitches.
Hasta la vista, hooks! Hasta la vista, big boy!
My turret's on him.
What the heck?
And don't kill the NPC. Don't kill the NPC. He's our friend. That's what I was setting up with this. You see that? You guys like it, right? Yeah, get that dick hard. This guy, he's gonna roll around on us. Come get it. Come get it.
Got a heal for you.
Oh my god. Down, he's down. He's down.
Oh my god.
Then he came into the stream and cursed me out. Let him up. Enlighten me at how the hell that guy behind me went. He's trying to stack up. We can't stack up if we...
Yeah, good stack. Good stack.
I got that. I got the... Shotgun's down. Yep. Oh, secret! No. DSDghost killed the ghost.
What the fuck? I'm not trying to go low.
Oh boy.
Flame turret is super nice thing. Green anybody? Green anybody? Green everybody? Green everybody? Green everybody?
On your back, buddy! Get on down!
My god.
You know what happens whenever this player is good person?